Amekia Jackson, how are you? Hi, Miss Iris. So glad to see you. Hi, Gigi. Hi, Creative Creole. So glad you guys could join me for story time. How's everybody's day been going? Ms. Iris says her day has been good. Ms. Iris said thumbs up to live. Thank you, Ms. Iris, because a lot of times I forget to say that. Ms. Iris, good evening. Creole is speaking to Ms. Iris. Gigi saying hello to everybody. Gigi, you been good? I've been meaning to call you. I just been on the move today. And I know you tried to call me, and I didn't get a chance. I didn't remember to call you back actually until now when I just saw you in my live. Ms. Iris says you had a good day. That's good. I had a pretty good day too. I won't complain at all. Not at all. I had a good day. I must say so. I had a good day. I'm glad everybody's doing well. I'm going to get started in just a few minutes. My laptop is acting up a little bit. I didn't print my story out this time, so I got to read it from my laptop. So that'll give a couple other people time to come on in, but you know, I don't prolong the time because I feel like everybody's time is equally important. I'm sitting by the fire. I'm still a little chilly. Didn't even get my hot beverage together. Usually have my hot tea or something. I was running and ripping to the 9th hour today. Just running and ripping. I tell you. Gigi, you did any challenges today? I guess Gigi must have stepped away from it. Oh, yes. Go watch it to the end. Okay. All right. I will. I ran your playlist, but I will go back and see what else you got out there now. Zara, she called you out for a challenge. Oh, how sweet. You called me out for a challenge. You play too much. I want you to know that. I got to see what this challenge is before I say, yes, I'm going to do it. I don't know, because see, you take them daring challenges. I don't fool with all that stuff. Especially like when you took that egg challenge, raw egg challenge that somebody challenged you to. I couldn't do a challenge like that. And I was looking at one that 50 Plus did, the banana and cucumber challenge. It's like, oh my goodness. See, so I can't be doing all that weed stuff. Hi, 50 Plus, how are you? I just called your name just now. I was saying Gigi just challenged me to a challenge. And I told her I got to see what that challenge is before I commit to it, because I'm not eating all that weird stuff that people have you challenge you. And I was just saying that I looked at a video of yours, 50 Plus, where you were eating bananas and cucumbers. You did a banana and cucumber challenge. So I said, no, I'm not eating none of that stuff. You can forget that. So I got to see what her challenge is first before I commit to it. Because I know she did a challenge. Somebody challenged her to drink them raw eggs. And see, I don't, Stuff like that, I don't mess with stuff like that. No way, no way. No, we can't do that. I'm going to get started in a minute. Having a little technical difficulties with my laptop. Hi, Vernus. How are you? I'm well, thanks. Had a pretty good day, if I do say so myself. How was your day, Vernus? Ms. Iris is speaking to Vernus. Okay. Ms. Iris spoke to 50. Just hang on a second. I'm trying to get it together here. Vernus is saying hello to Miss Iris. It's nice to know everybody had a pretty good day. That's always good news. Always good news. Vernus says she's busy, but I'm glad to hear you are well. Thanks, Vernus. Did you ever finish painting your house, Vernus? Miss Iris is saying hello to 50. And Vernus is saying hello to 50. Did you finish painting your house, Vernus? Vernus is speaking back to 50 plus. Hi, Kevin K. How are you? I'm glad you're happy to catch me also. I'm so glad to have you join us tonight for story time. I haven't gotten started just yet. Oh, Vernus says no. Heck no, she hasn't finished painting. Yeah, that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of work. Oh, Vernus starting a painting company? Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. Ms. Iris is speaking to Kevin. Hey, sis Sharon. Hey, sis Sharon is watching. However, she can't see the live chat tab on her iPad. Oh, I don't know what to tell her. Maybe you can assist her with that. I don't know. Tell her tell her to see if she can do it from her phone. I don't know what to tell her on that. However she went last time. Tell her to try it however she went last time, or maybe use her phone. Gigi says Kevin's going to be her manager at the paint company. Kevin sounds like he's up for the challenge. He says, word up. And then he's speaking to Miss Iris. You told her to compare the two. I don't know. I don't know what she did, or Gigi. I don't know what she did last time to come in. Okay, Vernon says Gigi to tell her to make her screen smaller. Okay, to minimize it. Okay. Thank you, Vernon. Gigi says okay. Kevin says that Ms. Iris, I'm on a tablet tonight and not my usual tech savvy self. Otherwise, I'd send you a heart to let you know what's up. Uh, Hang on 1 second, guys. Still working.
It's not even opening.
Yeah, it just went blank all of a sudden. What about if you shut it off and restart it?
I did.
You did?
I don't know what the hell does.
That's Chrome that's doing that. What about, will it let you get into the internet? The E?
Explorer. No,
Explorer.
it's worse of Explorer.
Okay. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to read it from there.
What's going on with this?
Okay. Hi, Simply a Sweetheart. How are you? So glad that you can join us tonight in story time. I'm going to have to go ahead and read this from the computer I'm working with here, so hopefully that won't interfere with, shouldn't interfere with my camera. Okay. All right, so can everybody see me okay still? Gigi says hello to 50. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and get, oh yes, okay, thank you. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get started to finish off the ending of the story that we, Hi, Nigel. Is that Nigel? I can't hardly see this little screen on my camera there. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yes. Hi, Nigel, First Lady TV, and hi, Yvonne. So glad you all could join me tonight. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We're going to finish up our story from last night. It wasn't a lot left. We were pretty much done with it. We were at the point where the queen was trying to guess his name, and she wasn't able to guess his name before. So he's coming back, I think, like the final night to see if she could guess his name. If you remember the characters that were in this story, the father's name was Joe Kerr. The wife's name was Shani Sales. I mean, not the wife. The father's name was Joe Kerr, and the daughter. We're talking about the father and the daughter. And the daughter's name was Shani Sales. And we were at the end where she was now queen, and the little imp had her trying to guess his name. Okay. So this is the night when the imp appears again, and she has a second opportunity to guess his name. So this is the final night, actually the third night, because he gave her 3 days to guess his name, and this is the final night. Okay. The third day, Queen Shani didn't know what to do. She wished she could tell her husband her woes, but she dared not. She walked to one side of the room and then back again. Back and forth, over and over she went. This does not help a thing. This ordeal hardly seems right, she said. She put on her royal cape and hood, thinking if I could only get rid of this little man. And then she walked outside the castle. If I have peace and quiet, maybe I will think of something that might rid me of him once and for all, she thought. Queen Shani went into the woods, hoping that she would run into someone who knew the little man, who could reveal his name. After all, he was an illegal outdoorsman. She followed a brook to a big lake near Shiwana's creative circle, and then went past the lake from the Gipe den to the deep forest hidden in the darkness. All of a sudden, the queen saw the light of a fire far away. And there was a voice that was hard to make out. There was something familiar about this voice. But what? She stepped closer. At last, there in front of a fire danced a little man. It was he, the very same imp that burdened me, she said. Very quietly, Queen Shani listened. As the little man danced, he sang, "Tonight, tonight, my plans I make. Tomorrow, tomorrow, her baby I will take. The queen will never win this game, for Ready, Set, Autism Family is my name." Ready, Set, Autism, said the queen. That night when the imp came, Queen Shani went through some more names. Is your name YouTube Matchmaker? Is it Carolina Hillbilly 1961? How about Frank G TV? No, 1,000 times no, said the imp. You're wasting my time. I will give you one last guess, then the baby is mine. Well, I am sure this is not right, but could your name be Ready, Set, Autism Family? Ready, Set, Autism Family, yelled the imp. How could you know this? He was so mad that he stomped his feet. He stomped then so hard that a very big hole opened in the ground, and he fell right down into it. And Ready, Set, Autism was never seen again. So that was the ending to our first story that we started. The other day. So now I'll get into our new story for tonight. Once upon a time, there lived a carpenter named James Gipe, and his wife blossomed Franca TV. More than anything in the world, they wanted a child of their own. At long last, their wish came true. The wife had a baby named Chakra. Each time they looked at the baby, they thought to themselves, these are magic moments. From the second floor window of their small house, the wife could see into the garden next door. Such fine fresh rows of plants and flowers she saw, but no one dared to go over the garden wall to see them up close. For the garden belonged to a witch named Soiree. One day, the wife was looking down at the garden from her window at the fresh-looking big green heads of lettuce. It is just what we need to eat, said the wife to her husband. You must go at once and get me some. But we cannot, said the carpenter. You know as well as I do that the garden belongs to the witch, Soiree, who lives next door. If I cannot have that lettuce, James, I will not eat anything at all. What could the carpenter do? Late that night, he climbed over the garden wall. With very quiet steps, he crept and took one green head of lettuce out of them all. With more quiet steps, he went back over the garden wall. His wife ate up the lettuce right away. She ate it all. But eating the lettuce only made her want more. If she could not have more lettuce, she said, there was nothing she would eat at all. So that next night, the carpenter climbed back over the garden wall and did not stall as he picked up one more head of lettuce. All at once came a high, loud voice. Stop! What do you think you're doing? I am getting lettuce for my wife, said the carpenter. You thief, yelled the witch. You will pay for this. Please, said James Gipe. My wife is going to have a baby. She saw your lettuce and wanted it so very badly. Why should I care about that? As they continued to chat, shouted the witch. I will do anything, said the carpenter. He thought, maybe I can build her something. You say you will do anything, said the witch. Yes, anything you please, he said. Fine, said the witch as she began to sneeze. Here's the deal. Go ahead, take all the lettuce you need. But I think this deal will haunt you forever. Your wife will have a baby girl. James said, please do tell, as he interrupted the witch. When she does, the baby will be mine. What? Said James Gipe. I would never agree to such a thing. You already did, James, as it seems. And she laughed an evil laugh. Soon Blossom Franca TV had a baby girl, just as the witch said. To keep the baby safe from exotic soiree, the carpenter built a tall tower deep in the woods, surrounded by tall grass LM. He built stairs that led up to the room at the very top, a room with one window. He and his wife took turns staying with the baby at night. The witch had a magical ball, so they could not hide the baby at all and didn't know it. The ball showed her just where the baby was, at the top floor in the tower. One day when James and Blossom were both in the house, exotic Soiree cast a spell over both of them. They fell into a deep, deep sleep, and at once the witch hurried to the tower. At the top room, the witch said to the baby, "I will call you Tisa Renee Green, for that is the name of the lettuce that brought you to me." Now, Tisa Renee Green, you are mine and you are one of a kind. But the witch did not know how to take care of a baby. Tisa grew into a child, and the witch did not even know how to cut her hair. Tisa's blonde hair grew longer and longer every day, and she couldn't go out to play. All the witch could do was keep the child locked into the room at the very top of the tower. She told Tisa Renee Green that the world was a very bad place and she was there to escape it. That was why she couldn't leave the tower. As she grew up, many times Tisa said to the exotic Soiree, "There is nothing here for me to do. Why must I stay in this tower all the time?" And the witch shouted back, "I already told you so many times, the world is full of crime. The world is a very bad place. Now go comb your hair and be quiet." But is it really so bad out there? Sometimes I hear people laughing down below, Tisa would say sometimes. At such time, the witch would yell, "How many times do I have to tell you don't listen to anything you see or hear out there? The world is much worse than you think. They will gobble you up in a blink of an eye." Exotic Soiree thought she was clever. "You will stay in this tower forever, Tisa, so get used to it." On her 12th birthday, Tisa Renee Green said to the witch, "I do not care what you say. I'm going away. I am so tired of staying here alone all the time, with not even a phone in here. When you are gone, I will chip away at the door and run away from home. I will make a hole. I will run down the stairs because I don't care what you say anymore." "Think again, my friend," said exotic Soiree. With her power, she made all the stairs into the tower fall down. She made all the doors close up. Now there was no way for Tisa to escape. By then, Tisa's hair had grown very, very long. Once the stairs were gone, when it was time for the witch to visit her in the tower, she would call from outside, "Tisa, Tisa, let down your hair." Tisa would throw her long blonde braid out of the window. The witch would grab hold of her hair and climb up there like it was a rope or a ladder.
We have the sheriffs, police reporters, state troopers.
Got a pop up there. And that is how exotic Soiree climbed up the tower, climbed up the tower wall to the window in Tisa's room. 5 more long years went by, and all poor Tisa would do is sit and cry. She knew she must stay in the room because the witch would be back soon. All she could do when the witch was gone is to sing sad songs out of the window. Sometimes birds at the treetops would join in her songs. Then she would feel a bit better, but not much. One day a prince was riding through the Barrow boys' woods. He told his staff to stop for a minute if they could, because he heard a beautiful singing voice. Where was it coming from, he asked. They rode closer and closer to the sound, but didn't see anything on the ground as they continued to look around. At last, in about an hour, he stumbled upon the tower. "This is odd," he said, looking around the tower wall. "There is no door at the bottom, no door at all. Yet someone is singing at the very top," as he hopped off his horse and began to walk around the tower. "How does anyone get in or out of there? It's so tall you can't even use a chair to scale the wall of this tower." The prince went on his way, but each day he'd come back to the tower. There was something about that voice that drew him back, of course. Who was that young woman singing at the top? Could he ever meet her? For she was heaven sent. One day when the prince rode up, he saw an old woman standing below the tower. He jumped behind a tree to hide. It was a witch. He heard her cry out, "Tisa, Tisa, let down your hair." A long blonde braid was thrown out from a window at the very top. Exotic Soiree grabbed onto the braid and made her way up to the top. "Aha," said the prince. "So that is how it is done." He waited and waited. After a bit, the witch was gone. The braid was thrown from the window again. Exotic Soiree climbed back down the tower and went her way. Once she left, he stepped up to the tower. In a voice that sounded as much like the exotic Soiree as he could, he called out, "Tisa, Tisa, let down your hair." In a moment, the same long braid came out of the window. It worked, thought the prince. He climbed up the wall of the tower. You can be sure that Tisa was very surprised to see the prince climb into her window. She had never seen a person up close before other than exotic Soiree, and never a man. "Who are you and what can I do for you?" she said in fear. "Do not worry," said the prince. "I am here as a friend, and I'm glad you let me in to see you." "But I do not know you," said Tisa. "I feel as if I know you," said the prince. since I have heard you sing songs from up here day after day, I made my way to see you. You have a beautiful voice, and I love it when the birds sing along with you, too. Yes, I like that too, said Tisa. It is the only thing I can do, since I must stay here in this old tower day after day, my whole life long. Tisa told the prince about exotic Soiree and how she wished that she would go away and set her free. She told him since the world was a bad place, she must always stay in the tower. But the world is not as bad as she says, said the prince. He told Tisa about flowers and festivals, games and gardens. He told her about puppies and puddles, strawberries and secrets. Many hours went by. At last, Tisa said he must go because exotic Soiree must not know he had been there. Very well, he said, as he shook his head, saying, I'll be back tomorrow. Tisa threw her braid out the window and the prince climbed down. The next day, the prince climbed back up to Tisa's room. He said, I have a surprise for you. What will you do? She said. He had brought strawberries for her. As she tasted a strawberry, Tisa thought, this is nice, of course. Now I know that what I was told is not true. The world can be a very fine place. I must get out of this tower as soon as I can. But how? One day the prince said, if only you could get out of this tower, we can be gone within an hour. How, Tisa asked. I can come and go by climbing up the walls by holding onto your braid. But once I am down, how can you get down too? I know, said Tisa. Bring me a ball of silk each time you come. I can weave the silk into a ladder and hold it together using gum. Silk folds up so small the witch won't see it. When the ladder gets long enough to reach the ground, we will both be able to climb down and get away. That's it, said the prince. Then he moved closer to Tisa. We will both be free, can't you see? When we are out in the world, will you marry me? Yes, said Tisa, I will. Every day after that, the prince brought a ball of silk to Tisa. Over time, she weaved the silk into a long ladder. It didn't matter what the witch said. She was determined to go. On Tisa's 18th birthday, exotic Soiree started to say in a sharp voice, before you open your mouth this time, said exotic Soiree, know this. I am sick and tired of hearing you talk about how alone you are in the tower all the time. It isn't good to change, Tisa, forever. Who says I'm alone in the room all the time? Said Tisa. What? Said exotic Soiree. Who has been up here with you? No one, said Tisa at once in fear, wishing the witch didn't hear what she said. I mean, no one but you. Exotic Soiree did not believe her. She started to look everywhere in the room for something to provide that someone else, to prove that someone else had been there. Soon she found the ladder. She held it high in the air. She yelled, "What is the meaning of this? Is this a silk that you're twisted to make a ladder?" "My friend, the prince brought me the silk," Tisa said. "You will never see this prince again, my friend. Not if I can help it." She took out a knife and began to slice. Snip, snap, and Tisa's lovely braid was gone. Holding the braid in one hand, Tisa couldn't understand why the witch was so evil. With the stroke of her magic, Tisa was cast away to a faraway desert. Then Exotic Soiree stayed in the tower room. She knew that soon the prince would return. Exotic Soiree did not have long to wait. Soon the prince was calling at the bottom of the tower in a voice that was supposed to sound like her. "Tisa, Tisa, let down your hair." So that's how he did it, thought Exotic Soiree, while she was waiting on him above. Holding tightly to one end of Tisa's braid, she just couldn't wait until he came up, so she threw the other end out the window. The prince took hold of the homemade ladder and then climbed up after. When he climbed into the window, he was much surprised to see Exotic Soiree. "Where is Tisa?" he called out. "What have you done with her?" he yelled out. "You will never see Tisa Renee Green again, my friend," yelled Exotic Soiree. Exotic Soiree pushed the prince so hard that he lost hold of the bars in the window. Down, down he fell. The prince landed on some bushes down below. It was lucky for him, you know. The bushes helped him with the fall, but it wasn't good for him. No, not at all. For the bushes had sharp thorns. Some of the thorns went into his eyes, and the prince was blind. For 2 long years, the poor blind prince wandered still, looking for Tisa. From morning to night, even with no sight, he called for her, but it was no use. At last, he reached the desert, and that's where he found her. He heard a beautiful voice singing. "Oh," he thought, "I know that voice." It was his dear Tisa, of course. He went closer and closer to the voice he knew so well. "My prince," called Tisa when she saw him. The two of them hugged tight, and tears of joy fell into their eyes at the very sight of each other. All at once, he could see again. And what happened next? Well, I'm sure you can guess. The prince and Tisa went back to the kingdom where the prince lived. They were married, those 2 kids, as soon as they could. The prince became king of the land, and Tisa became queen. The 2 of them lived happily ever after. And that concludes my story. Thank you all so much for being here. Hi, Anthony Ferret time. So glad to see you made it in to see me. Hi, let's spend time with me in America. Welcome, 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 Cheryl Freeman. How are you? So glad that you all were able to stop by and spend some time with me for story time. Hi, OZTV. Thank you for coming by. Hi, Proverbs 31 woman. Hi, Nigel, First Lady. Trying to see who else I missed. I am so grateful that you all came in with me. And quite a few of you haven't been with me. So what I'm doing here is I'm a published author and I wrote a book. The name of my book is My Struggle in Broken Pieces, A Healing for My Soul, and it's available at Amazon. I'm feeling pretty good, Cheryl Freeman. It's been a pretty good day. I really must say it's been a pretty good day. And so what happened is I'm going to eventually read excerpts from my book. So these little stories, that's why I call them a prelude to story time, because I will be reading my book during story time. I'll be reading my book as well as still doing these little cute stories. And I'll probably alternate, do one day, one the next. And what happens is I use characters, YouTubers in the stories as the characters. But you may not be there as a person. You may be in the story as a person, place, or thing. So I use the YouTubers' names as either person, place, or thing. And so that's what I do with the little stories. And just take the little childhood stories that we all know and just kind of spin them around. Cheryl says, I'm going to go and get your book for sure. Oh, okay, thank you so much, Cheryl. Vernus and 50 Plus, Scratching Queen, and Wolfman Gaming, they all won books because one night I had like 54 characters in one of the stories. And I had them all put a number in how many they thought were in the story. And whomever got the actual number or closest to it, the nights that I did it, they won a book. So Vernus was able to win a book, 50 Plus, and Scratching Queen. And it's funny because the night the Scratching Queen came in, she was actually called as one of the characters, and she also won a book. So I get especially excited during story time when one of the characters that I'm calling actually shows up. Vernus says, I still haven't heard from you. Okay, she's talking to her cousin. Cheryl's talking to her cousin. Okay, doing it. All right. So Vernus and Cheryl connected. So I get especially excited when I have a character actually show up in story time on the night that they're called. I never know who's going to be in the story. I just put the names in according to how the story is flowing. And sometimes I wind up using a character more than once. I think Vernus has been in about 2 or 3. I know at least 2, but I think 3 stories. Let's spend time with me in America. How are you, my friend? I'm well. Let's spend time. I am well. I really had a good day today. A pain-free day. So I am well. Thanks for asking. And 50 Plus has been used in more than one story. Simply a Sweetheart has been used in more than one story. So has Shiwana Creative Circle. So several of the YouTube, and I think Barrow Boy Woods was used in a story before. But if they didn't come in on that night, they'd have to do replay to see. Okay, I have been in 2 stories. Okay, so 50, and 50 Plus had the opportunity to hear himself one night that he came. He was a character. He missed the first night that he was, but he came, and him and his wife were actually characters in the story. So I like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. I just put them in however they flow. Okay, 50 says, and my wife, if allowed, she died. Oh yeah, unfortunately 50's wife died in the first paragraph. I had to figure out how I came up with 50 and his wife is because it was a story that required a king and a queen. And so since they were a couple and I knew they were YouTubers that were a couple, you know, husband and wife team, I decided to use both their names in the story. But she died off, unfortunately, in the first paragraph, and he had to get another queen. And that was Glamour Queen Rayo was the YouTuber that I used as his new wife. Okay, Anthony, it's okay. Thank you for unsubscribes to me. Curious, what can I do? Something wrong with this? Anthony, I don't know. Anthony, are you talking to me or someone else? I'm not sure. Thank you, 50. 50 says he loved all my stories. Thank you so much. Cheryl, oh no, your wife died. Oh, yeah, Cheryl, the story killed off in the first paragraph. Anthony, who are you speaking to? Are you speaking to me? It's okay. Cheryl, yes, it was a really beautiful story. Since going to yeah, well, Anthony, okay, now I find it. You did unsubscribe, appreciating with your, and God blessing you who you are. Anthony, are you saying I unsubscribed to you? I thought I was a subscriber. In fact, I just looked at one of a couple of your videos this early this morning. So I'm not understanding. You said I unsubscribed. If I unsubscribed from you, I apologize. That was in error, but I don't recall unsubscribing to you. 50%, Deborah, she never heard the story. Oh, okay. Why are you? Cheryl, I didn't kill off Mother Teresa. The story did. Vernice, assign. You need to sign. Okay, Vernice. Okay, I will do that. I definitely most do that. Is it okay for me to make you one the next time you're in my live, Vernice? And I'll probably have Gigi. Maybe I can have you guys to be mods for me in my next story if you're there. With Vernice, Claudia, sure, if you would like. Yes, I really would appreciate that, Vernice. I really would. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. Cheryl, yes, I never heard the rest of the stories. This is the first one for me. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, all right. But I appreciate you, Cheryl, for coming in. If you have time, if you want to go back and do the replay, then you'll get to catch the other stories and kind of catch up. Make me a moderator too, Deborah. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, Cheryl. Okay, if you're in story time next time, we could most definitely work that out. We can definitely. I sure appreciate you, ladies, willing to do that for me. Anthony, same thing happened to me. Oh, okay. Let's spend time is talking to Anthony. Said the same thing happened to him. Don't know what happened. 50 Anthony, YouTube takes away people. Please delete your comment. The S word is spam. Okay. All right. Thank you, 50, for that. If Anthony can Vernice, can you or Cheryl take care of that for me, please? Oh, okay. Cheryl was surprised that I didn't have any mods. Yes, she's still learning. Okay. Thank you all so much for your help. Yeah, I'm still learning. That is definitely for sure. I'm still learning, but I appreciate you. You have to have mods to control your chat, sweetie. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you all, you ladies, so much. Anthony. Okay. Can one of you ladies take care of that? I really don't even know what that's all about. I really don't. Okay. Yeah, Cheryl, I see. This is definitely a reminder of that. Yvonne says, I'm enjoying your storytelling. Thank you so much, Yvonne. I'm so glad to see you back a second night. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the stories. Okay, 50 is letting Anthony know that the words he's using, he's spamming. Yes, we are learning. Yes. Yes. Okay, peace, love, and hope. Hello, peace, love, and hope. How are you? Welcome to my live. Unfortunately, you missed the story. But I'm so glad that you thought enough to come by. Peace and love. I think I used you in 2 of the stories previous, but you'd have to do a replay. But I'm pretty sure I used you in 2 of the stories. America, don't worry, let God take care of you. And show to you. Okay. I'm doing well. I'm doing just fine. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm glad you enjoyed the story. I am so glad you enjoyed it. And hopefully you'll be around to hear some more. Peace and love. Peace, love, and hope says, I tried to get to tonight, but it's been a busy, busy day. I understand. I definitely understand. We all got a lot going on, peace and love, besides YouTube. So, you know, and then we're trying to move around. I was in a lot of lives trying to move around today and view some videos and stuff. Okay, Yvonne has a question. Okay, Yvonne, certain words that, Vernus is telling you that certain words you're not allowed to use in the chat. And I guess because you're not a YouTuber or you're not in a lot of lives, you probably don't know. Should I change my name handle? Yvonne wants to know, should you change your name handle? It's not necessary. Okay, thanks. Vernus just answered you too. No, it's not necessary to change your handle. But anyways, you all, I'm going to go ahead and end my live now. I thank you all so much for coming. I don't take your participation lightly. I appreciate each and every one of you. Peace, love, and hope. Are you saying that you finally made your 1K? Oh, that's wonderful. Peace, love, and hope. That is wonderful. That's a blessing. Okay, Cheryl says, please assign you some mods. And I recommend 50 plus, and Vernus and me, of course, just some suggestions. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you, 50, so much. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and end the live now. Always remember, until we meet again, may his peace be with you. And remember, I have a will to live. So I will see you tomorrow at story time at 10. Thank you. Good night.